Powering on. Mic on.
keeps Maya up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Crazy Hair Day NGS cast by LD Ziltoid. It's just been kind of the theme today because my hair is just raw all over the place and I can't do anything about it, but I don't really care. We're just going to get into the matches. Today's live matchup, because I've done quite a few replay casts today, is ReGen Phoenix versus Buff Chen. Both the 8th and 9th seeds, I believe, or 8th and 10th seeds? 8 and 9. So these two teams are going at it. ReGen Phoenix is a little bit ahead in the amount of matches that they've played, and therefore a little bit behind in their loss count. So they really need to pick up the victory here against Buff Chen today if they want to maintain the spot at least in a position in playoffs. They also have to bank on some good victories near the end of the season, plus some bad losses for the following teams: Buff Chen, Rush B, and Winston Churchill Manatees, to manage to stay the bottom. Meanwhile, those two teams, both Rush B and Buff Chen, have an opportunity to take the 8th seed away from ReGen Phoenix. So this is a pretty big matchup here, and I'm rooting for the ReGen boys to some extent because I don't want to see them eliminated here, but Buff Chen's a good team, and they've definitely been putting the paint, putting the damage in and getting things done in a lot of situations. So it's going to be a tough one for ReGen Phoenix to come out on top here. And the following matchups after that are no easier, as they have Jailbait and who else did he say? They have Jailbait and Beast Coast remaining, which are probably the two strongest teams. A couple really strong teams remaining. Although Beast Coast did take a loss to Hodis the other night, which was a bit of an upset, but not really. Hodis is a really good team, and their playoff performances are generally very good. I'm going to pop us into the overview so we can take a look to see what's happened so far. ReGen Phoenix lost the coin toss. Buff Chen took first pick. We banned out Alterac and Tomb of the Spider Queen on the side of ReGen Phoenix. Buff Chen took out Braxis and Volskaya, and we will be going to Battlefield of Eternity to start things off. Interesting map, someplace that not everyone feels super comfortable on, but these two teams seem to be, and that's always a good sign. Let me bring the tickers back, as they no longer need to be put into this spot. We were just waiting for everyone to kind of get into lobby. It looks like I have all of ReGen Phoenix here, just waiting for Buff Chen to arrive, and then we can get started. We are starting the match a little late, but that's mostly my fault, as I was just getting things started and ready to go from my previous cast that just closed up not 15 minutes ago. A little bit longer than that, but still missing one. Yeah, so it's these are always the end of the season matchups are always the rough ones. It's where teams really do their best to establish themselves in the standings. RGP lost to Trump. They did beat Winston Churchill Manatees. They lost to Hodis. Lost to MHS. They picked up the 2 forfeit victories, although I think they won both those matchups that they did play. Dive Hard and Almost Legends Ruby. They went 2-1 with RKB and 2-1 with Minion Miners. So, this is a team that, if they can squeeze in the playoffs, can still take out some of those top teams if, you know, in the right circumstance. But the 2 loss to Rush B was a rough one, and Rush B is one of those teams that still has a chance to overtake them in the standings. And that could very well bite them in the butt. We have everybody here, though, by the way, so we might as well see. I think I've got everybody appropriate, too. Yeah, it looks like it. Cool. That's going to make things nice and easy. Yeah, I think it's a tough spot to be in if you're ReGen Phoenix, because you're a lot's banking on your remaining victories against top opponents, and you're the ones underneath you not performing any better or definitely significantly worse. But we're gonna get into the draft here on Battlefield of Eternity. And let's see what we get as far as the draft. Finally, first time today I get to actually cast a draft. I do miss casting drafts. You can get so many of your ideas out of what you see compositionally wise. You can talk about things data wise that you just can't do generally speaking. We're going to see Alarak banned out. And that's where I'm going to start my statistics here. Let's see what's been happening with Alarak in Division B East. 25% win rate with a 12% popularity. It's a good ban against people that you feel are a problem, and much is shown to be quite dangerous on that hero, but no one else seemed to have a very significant advantage, or no one else seems to be having as good a good time on the hero. So we're gonna see Sylvanas banned out. This one's definitely a higher priority, higher win rate hero at 54% with a 40% popularity rate. Decent ban, definitely. If you know they play it, might as well remove it and go from there. Noob Iraq. I've fallen off a bit. The thing with the Noob Iraq with the nerfs is that if you weren't already decent with the Noob Iraq, getting value out of him becomes difficult. And even if you are good with him into certain compositions, he's absolutely a risk to play into or play with, and that actually we see with the 33% win rate. The first hero we're going to see on the board, though, is going to be Greymane. That's going to be first pick from Buff Chen. 35% win rate with about a 30% popularity rate. Greymane has not been really making the waves that I'd like to see in most divisions. And I think maybe the buffs were a tad overstated, and that his position in the meta has not improved significantly because of it. Anduin is going to be picked up by Buff Chen as well, and with the Ranger. So we're going to go full auto attacks. Interesting to see that being the case, but it is Battlefield of Eternity. This is the one place where you can really kind of get away with that. So on the other side, we have Artanis, which is a staple on this map through a bunch of different divisions, and ETC, who is probably one of the highest performing tanks here in the game as of recently. In fact, I love popping up ETC stats because it's great to see how well he's been performing. And there you go, 60% popularity, 76% win rate. I mean, that's just insane. So the Johanna banned out, and this is the other big tank. Look at that, 96%, 60% win rate. Interesting. Lily is going to be the choice to be removed here. I'm quite curious to see what the win rate is. 50% and 5%. Decent KDA, but is it really worth the ban? I mean, it's good into them. I guess it's true. For half a second there, I forgot that they were both auto attack damage dealers. So yeah, Lily gets good value. And Johanna's off the field, so that means blinds are limited, which is good and bad. It's not like they were going to take Johanna, though, against Artanis and ETC. And they do still have block party capability from ETC, and they have suppression pulse from Artanis, which could be actually a big problem. So we're going to get the follow-up with Murder onto Jaina. Li Ming's still available, but Jaina does provide slows, which is good. And if you use those well, it can be an effective pickup. But definitely not my favorite mage to take here, but still better than, say, like Gul'dan or Kael'thas, in my opinion. Not that they're better heroes, just that it's better than in this situation. Muradin and Thrall are going to be the follow-ups. Thrall should have very interesting statistics in this division. I actually expect him to be above 50%, but not significantly so. I'm wrong. He's actually 45%, still within like the like an okay win rate area. Like it's not bad. 45% is reasonable, especially with high play. But still not like a huge thing. Stukov, Cassia going to remain it, and I like this Cassia play. Like Jaina, Cassia, Artanis into this is actually really good. I like ReGen Phoenix draft into what Buff Chen has brought. Buff Chen has great race, don't get me wrong, but so much is tied to auto attacks, and they've got a lot of heroes that are just fantastic at dealing with that exact thing. So I like it, but I'm thinking that I lean towards ReGen Phoenix draft, just personally. I think it counters out what we want to do. Execution is still a good portion of what this game is all about, so without further ado, we're going to get into game number 1 between ReGen Phoenix and Buff Chen, Division B East. Alrighty then, let's bring up the graphic, which I got done nice and easy today. So nice to have a draft. We're going to see on the blue side, ReGen Phoenix, Mudge on the Artanis, Arya playing the Stukov, Arrow on the ETC, Murder playing Jaina, and Darabo on the Cassia. On the other side, we have Buff Chen Thistledew on the Anduin Kage, or sorry, on the Greymane, Kagetai on the Anduin, Sosa playing Raynor, Middle Bear on the Murden, and we will have SVX in the offlane on Thrall. This is a great map for Thrall. It's great for lane matchups because he doesn't have to work too hard for it. Just generally speaking, it's a good hero here, but I do like Artanis, and Artanis has a lot of good things that go for him on this map in particular, and just in general, he's actually a pretty decent hero. We don't see him much, but I do think that he's underplayed. He's definitely undervalued, I think, overall. But he's like one of those heroes that you really need someone that like plays Artanis. You don't want just some random Joe playing it. Nice power slide on the Middle Bear, knockback, although it shouldn't stop the leap. He hasn't even bothered to try for it. Sosa is taking a bunch of damage. Middle Bear getting pressure. Darabo stepping up to see if he can finish the kill, but not quite there. But yeah, we can see ReGen Phoenix exchange here is actually pretty good. Stukov's sustain healing is decent. You can run down his mana bar, but the same can be said about Anduin, and we actually see right now the difference between the two is the damage dealt and damage healed. Anduin is down quite a bit of mana, but still good. And he has decent mana sustain as he gets in through the game too as well, especially depending on certain builds. We're going to see Renew as opposed to Bold Strategy, which is fine. Renew has been quite often taken by everybody. Big 3-man blind, and Middle Bear walks away with 30 health. Doesn't walk away. Leap of faith. He was saved by Anduin there. And Raynor just kind of got dominated in that bot fight. The blinds hitting 3, especially it was Murden, Greymane, and Raynor, which means no damage is coming out. And I think we have Block Party, which means that even if damage does come out, ETC is dropping 75% armor on all of his teammates. I mean, this is just one of those classic spots of, oh my god, we don't do damage. In fact, they're so confident that they're like, well, Stukov can go up to see if he can poke out a Thrall. They're gonna fight here on this, but they didn't see the Stukov rotation. As soon as Arya shows herself, Thrall says, yeah, I'm not fighting into that, and walks away. So camp is gonna go in their favor. We see almost a half level experience advantage coming out from ReGen Phoenix. They are significantly in the lead here. Yeah, 1 kill. We see a little bit of pressure coming on the Middle Bear. He's going to take a tower shot. He's going to be able to jump out. He's going to be fine. He'll heal that up in no time. They're going to clear the top camp. In the meantime, bruisers on both sides are being unleashed into the lanes.
I shall purge your
positioning favors Phoenix? Yeah, I mean, they obviously does. They burned this before there's any chance for defense. Let's see if ReGen Phoenix goes for the clear, though. They're going to need to clear this top lane. It's already pressuring onto the wall. We actually see Stukov trying to split off of it, but it looks like instead of going for that, they're just going to go for the burn. And really, what we see from Buff Chen is no significant defense lined up, so they're going to get a good shield out of that. And the Shaman went down anyways to the towers, so in the end, it actually worked out perfectly fine for ReGen Phoenix. And it's going to push in that lane, which is nice. This camp is still going here in the bottom lane, which they have Thistledew off splitting against. And it's going to be Thrall Rainer here in the top lane. I guess they just wanted a bit more CC for the defense here, as both Greymane and Thrall require to step up to do damage-ish. But I don't know. I think especially if we go Quicksilver Bullets at 13... sorry, at 7, Greymane will definitely be the one you want poking at this. But it's a tough spot. There's lots of blinds. If they're landing on the appropriate targets. It wasn't that they had a ton of blinds against them. It was just more of the fact that they have Block Party for the in-between. And if she is landing any of those blinds on 2 or 3 of their auto-attack damage dealers, it's going to nerf their damage. And we can see it. It's working right now. Thrall still doesn't have his stacks. So hopefully he can get the last 2 he needs there at the end. But look at this. Look at the damage numbers. I mean, it's working, right? It's gotta be. Well, Middle Bear might be in trouble. He does still have Dwarf Toss. It doesn't go into the silence, but he still has to walk through it to get out as he failed to get over the wall. We're going to see Thrall back up, getting his... He did manage to get it, right? And that was the notification that came up on the side there. Yeah, I wasn't paying enough attention, apparently. Now we're going to see a bit of pressure being applied by ReGen Phoenix here in the bottom lane now, using this Khazra camp actually to apply the siege damage that they need. And it should be good enough to stop this wall. I think they just realized there's just no counter damage. Like, they're just... Stukov has a full mana bar. This Block Party is just insanely good into this composition. And that's going to be a kill. I don't think Middle Bear gets out of this. He's so low, but Cassia's already working on the backline, so doesn't switch targets fast enough. And they're actually all going to peel out had she turned around and went after that Muradin as soon as he was low and used the leap. That was a dead Muradin, but she was 1v2, 1v3 the backline there. So, I mean, even if you don't get the kill, if the effect is the same, in the end, it's probably still an okay play. But they you know, those are one of those things where, like, being aware of your target changes actually does improve your kill potential significantly. And if people can call it and people can get used to listening to the call and making the transition, then it's often quite okay. She was perfectly safe to do it. They were already backing out. That was a dead Muradin, almost certainly. But they peeled out. They still have half a level chance to get back into this. Neither team went for the Bruiser camp, though that might be changing now. Looks like they're both going to make the call, but the camp clear is going to be in favor, especially since Greymane split, of ReGen Phoenix. They're going to be able to get this out, almost get 10s, and that's the thing. They want 10s. They want to just passively soak this, and they're going to get it from the keep soak. But they realize they're split, so they're like, you know what, we're almost 10s. Let's just take the engagement. We'll have... it come back up, but maybe it's a little overzealous. Arya getting pressured by the Thrall and actually continuing to be pressured might actually be a problem, but no, they are able to burn down a significant amount of this. I'd like to see a disengage come in. Nice mosh pit, though. The 10s do come in. That's going to be 2 kills, I believe. Yep, and it actually took the ball lightning with them and started hitting 2 other targets there. That's 2 kills. Both Muradin and Greymane go down. Bruiser camp got good value, I guess. It was moving up pretty hard here. Sosa has to be careful. He might actually die if he's not a little more safe here. Yeah, double blinds and block party. Makes defending any of this super difficult. And this is this is actually a problem for Buff Chen. This that is going to help. They are able to step up because of Hyperion to get a lot of damage in. They burn down that shield well, so that's good. There comes the blind. I wish it would actually come out earlier. I know they wanted to do it off the engagement, but why not keep the shield up and then engage? I don't know. It seems a little bit weird. But there's going to be the pressure. They're going to see if they can find a kill here. Metal Bear is in trouble, but not going to die, I don't think. Cassie's putting the pressure in. This is going to be able to get down the shield, but whether it actually takes the core is going to entirely depend on if ReGen Phoenix can finish this up with some kills. But looking like they weren't able to find the engagement they were looking for. And that's going to be 2 kills, 3 kills, maybe 4. There's the stun. There's the root. And there's the Stukov. So keep was got, but the core call was a little risky at that moment. They hadn't managed to find any kill targets. I think if they would have kept that up, maybe used the blind a little sooner, might have made it a little bit easier to push up and find those kills with the desperate defense coming through. But, you know, in the end, it was just they went for a core call that wasn't probably a core call and got punished for it. So now, while they did get 4% on the core and the shield down during that push, they lost the experience lead. Map control is somewhat regained. They still have keep. They still have more forts. They still have more fort walls. I mean, flat out, Buff Chen's draft has been unable. Not like I haven't been trying to do anything, but they have been unable to accomplish anything in team fights or on objectives. And even just now, barely kind of getting any type of control over camps in favor of or over top of ReGen Phoenix. Yeah, in the end, despite the fact that they gave up a big experience lead, the core problem of, well, they can't kill anyone, the diminution. Now, this is something that I don't want to see RGB do, is get into these races. Flat out, I'm pretty sure they lose that race to a Rain or Greymane. Lucky spawns on their side. Now they can kind of wait for top lane to build pressure. They can even step back, grab their bruiser camp. They're going to step up, though, into a stun, into a chokehold. There goes the silence, though. They're going to try to pressure the Muradin. He's going to pop Avatar. There goes Light Bomb. See if they can land on 2. Follow-up stun is not going to land. Artana's doing a lot of work there and zoning out. And Muradin is still extremely low, just below 1,000 health, but Arrow, even worse off, is going to get picked off here. Yep, he's going to go down. So they managed to get the objective. But this is one of those instances where sometimes just like not taking that much damage for the objective is the right play. They burnt down so much that they could just back out, especially with the defensive positioning. You just step up, do a bunch of damage, walk away, look for a positioning mistake. They almost killed Muradin. It was really this close. And I think overcommitting for that kill when they couldn't land the stun put them into a bad position where a lot of the counter damage was coming out, and they had to drop a couple heroes for it. So objective is nice. It's still going to do okay. It's going to get a front wall, but I don't think it's going to get anything more than that. And there's really nothing that these 3 heroes can do here. They might as well just back away.
Thus ends my assault on hell. I must rest for a time.
So still pretty close in the experience area. It's 3 to 6 in kills, but structurally there's a big advantage here still for ReGen Phoenix, and Lots of opportunities to find themselves back into this game. This is a good rotation. I think they're going to find a Greymane. He does get swapped. That's going to be it. He's going to die. They were split, unfortunately. Buff Chen was not, just not playing safe. They were overextended out into the lane. They didn't back up soon as soon as they didn't see anyone on the map. They didn't expect this rotation, which was a clever rotation. I'm not surprised. And they got caught out. It was good. Well, it was a great play from ReGen Phoenix. And they continue to make great plays, which is helping re-establish control over this game. The Blizzard was a little early. Good stun on the Muradin's going to keep him off. They're not going to full commit to this. Get knocked back. That thing's going to start pushing into the top lane, which has to be dealt with. But the thing is there's a 13-second window for them to do so. That should be pretty easy clear up for a 5-man squad. I don't think that's much of a problem. They'll clear that up. They'll clear up the thing. There's no really other camps on it. They're going to get a little bit of extra poke race, but again, don't overcommit to this. There goes Middle Bear jumping in. He's actually stuck. If he gets hit with the slide, he might be in trouble, but the light bomb keeps everyone from going in on him, but he's still in big trouble. But Arrow is still the one that dies, and while we're getting a 3-man Ring of Frost and Light Bomb getting lots of value, things are still not looking great for ReGen Phoenix in this fight. It's actually looking kind of scary. They do lose the Cassia. They almost hit the halftime show, but they are down 1. Artana seeing if he can actually peel off here and not get picked apart, but the stun plus root. Silence trying to keep him alive. He does manage to dodge some of the major damage. Murder also being looked at here, but Middle Bear is pretty low. Artanis is definitely putting the pressure on here, buying as much time as they can for the re-engagement to come into play. Mudge just going right at them. Shield gets reprocced. They're going to try to push them off of this as much as possible. SVX has no mana. This will do. Might get stunned here if he's not careful. There's the silence, but now Stukov is out of position, and that's going to be 3-man dive onto it. The blind is not going to come out soon enough, and he's going to go down. And that's a kill onto Stukov, but they bought time, and now they might be able to get the chase down here because there's no mana left on Kagetai. There's no mana left on Middle Bear. There's no mana left on SVX. So I think we're going to see Mudge. He should be able. He should notice that they're not there and maybe see if he can pop in there and get some auto attack damage. They don't even need to. They get the poke damage from Jaina, and now they just need to stall. Now, I wonder if going for the halftime show was the right call by ReGen Phoenix. I wonder if actually sitting there and waiting it out was actually the appropriate move, as they are still down 1, and it is their healer, which means they cannot win any type of sustained fight. Sosa's going to split off here, but it's a dangerous spot to be in if he gets hit by Arrow there. But Arrow now might be in big trouble. A huge 2-man mosh pit. Light Palm plus Sundering is going to be popped to try to deal with it. But we got a 2-man Ring of Frost with a ton of damage coming in from Murder, and that's a kill and a kill. That's going to be 2 going down for the side of Buff Chen. Things going from bad to worse. Now Murder is super low. SVX looking to see if he can pick off the Jaina, and they do manage to get it, but Swap comes in, and now he can't get away. That's going to be another kill. 3 for 1. Totally will take that trade any day of the week. We see Arrow looking to see if he can lock down Middle Bear. But at this point, I think ReGen Phoenix just goes for the objective, clears it up. Bottom lane is pushing in with catapults. Top lane was pushing in on the core with catapults. So those things have to be cleared up, and ReGen Phoenix still in a commanding position here. This is a scary spot for Buff Chen. Yes, Jane is down, but so's Thrall. Thrall will be up faster, but this is a pretty decent shield on this Immortal. This keep has no front wall. It's going right onto it with ranged attacks. And Jane is not far behind. Plus, they've got all of their ultimates up, including Suppression Pulse, which, again, a nice early cast of it. Look at that much damage going into Middle Bear. There's the Light Bomb being initiated, but he walks in and dies. And this is going from bad to worse. It looks like Buff Chen is in big trouble. The blind goes down, so there's no counter damage coming out. This Immortal's going to walk right onto the core, and I just don't think there's anything left in the tank for Buff Chen. There's a big swap, keeping Thrall off of it, putting Mudge in position to put the damage into it. Look how quick this thing is burning down. That's going to be the end of game number 1. ReGen Phoenix taking game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. And there you have it, folks. Those are the end of the game statistics. Got a lot of value out of that Cassia. Darabou's actually been pretty well known to be good at that hero, if I recall correctly. So, not a big surprise that we got such good value out of it. But the blinds upon, you know, the block party just made that a uphill battle. Regardless, Buff Chen still made some fantastic plays and did almost reestablish themselves back into the game. And they won some of those late game team fights. Definitely could have flopped over the other way. So, going to pop up the talents. And we'll be right back as I set up the next game. Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Game number 2 between ReGen Phoenix and Buff Chen. We will be going to Dragonshire, and that will be picked up by ReGen Phoenix as Buff Chen opted for first pick again. So that's where we will be heading here in just a few seconds. Yeah, and that is the shame. When you lose those early objectives, that's why early game on this map in particular, on Battlefield of Eternity, matters so much. Is because even if you start getting late game victories, if you've fallen behind enough, it just punishes you so hard for it. You can get late game comebacks, but it's a big poofy chair. It's a big chair with an ottoman that I have stacked up with pillows. And I use it as a chair and as a bed periodically. Glad to see everybody in, around 10 people in the chat. If you haven't already, please do hit the follow button. And if you're into that kind of stuff, subs, biddies, or the donation chip jar is welcome as well. Feel free, feel not free, I don't care either way. Well, I do, but I appreciate it anyways, if you do. I think we're ready to go. Got the readies from both teams in place. We should be getting into the draft here right away. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty. Let's see how the drafts go. And it's going to be the Alarak again removed. No one wanting much playing that hero. I'm aware, Murda. Unfortunately, I ran into a snag in my hand drawing up an emote. But I'll only have one. So if we want two, which we will have, I need 5 more subs before the other ones run out. Sylvanas gonna be banned again. Diablo, is that another ban? I can't remember. Statistically, has not been impressive. 59% popularity rate with a 29% win rate. Not looking good for the Red Devil himself. Vala gonna be banned out. I think this is the second time we've seen that, so definitely don't want to keep someone like Sosa or... Oh, geez. But decent, higher popularity rate than before, and decent performance overall. ETC, we already saw as a crushing win rate, and picking up another win last game is definitely helping that. In this instance, though, we're going to see Kael'thas picked up. And in this division, 60% win rate with an 83% popularity. Honestly, that's probably the most popular DPS in all of Div B East. Anubarak, I think we saw had a bad win rate. For sure, Anduin as well is not performing highly. And neither is Greymane, for that matter. I think he's sitting at a 45%. 35%, yeah. All three of these heroes, actually, win rates are kind of tanking in B East. I wonder if a change-up is required, or if we just haven't seen the magic yet. We see Falstad. I can't remember if I brought up his stats, but we'll just do it again just in case. Look at that. Falstad actually a pretty powerful hero right now. Popularity's increased, win rate's increased. It's pretty good across the board. Genji's out of the meta, which helps. Zeratul is not being taken nearly as frequently, which helps. So when those kind of scary dive hero assassins are not being regularly taken, it's a little bit safer. I'm going to see Brightwing come in. I've been seeing this all day today. Brightwing really seeming to be everyone's favorite healer, but the win rate is not reflecting what many seem to perceive to be good about her. And Raynor sitting right about even. He's popular, and he's got a decent win rate. I think with a hero like this, where he's just good, like he's just good at what he does, you know, he doesn't bring a huge playmaking ability that game changes. He's just a solid hero. Imperious gonna come up. And a Rexar to end this all up. And I love Rexar on this map. He definitely controls that top lane extremely well. Imperious is not bad, but I don't generally think he wins this lane. Generally speaking. There are your drafts for game number 2 between ReGen Phoenix and Buff Chen. as we get set up for the next, as we get into the game, actually. Here. And yes, thank you, Murda. You are the bomb. I do see the star next to your name. I appreciate the sub. Thank you so much. I am going to try to get that emote out, perhaps beginning or middle of next week. I know it's a long time coming, but I'm trying to get there. Here we are, though, in game number 2. ReGen Phoenix in the blue. Murder on the Kael'thas. Arya on the Brightwing. Darabo on Raynor. Arrow playing ETC. And Mudge on the Rexar. And on the other side, we have Buff Chen looking for the equalizer. In the reds, Thistledew on the Greymane. Sosa on the Lunara. SVX playing Imperious. Middlebear on the Nubrak. And Kagetai on the Anduin.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unleash the dragon's wrath.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree there's rules. It's hard to say that this isn't an advantageous draft for RGP, just given the current trends in the meta and just this map in general. Rexar is really hard to beat in that top lane without something like a Chen or an Aurel. And Imperious just doesn't seem to be the pick I was looking for to perhaps dominate up there. And then when we're looking at the 4-man, ETC, Block Party's going to be nice. I assume that's what we got again. No, he went for Prog Rock, which is fine. You know, Raynor Kael'thas is really good on rotations, really good at getting camps out, pretty good at pressuring with Siege. They have all those tools, but this... It's an interesting thing. Like, Nubrak can be very good. Greymane is great follow-up dive. Anduin is good at locking down those targets. Lunara, depending on the build, can be very good at pressuring and even bursting down dove targets. So, and you know, her wave clear isn't bad, especially with Splinter Spear, which is probably what we're gonna see. So there are definitely elements about their 4-man that can definitely pressure this.
Capture the shrines, inherit the Dragon Knight's power, and lay waste to this forsaken kingdom.
But more than that, we saw some just great plays from RGP last game. So if they continue to make good plays like we saw, enabled by a decent draft, then yeah, Imperius actually is splitting off into the mid lane as Lunara is now taking on the Rexar. But even then, Lunara can, but it's also a bit risky. She really has to micro this well. And that can be a bit of... Exactly, this happens. If you get hit by that stun, though, Rexar wins this fight. Especially if you don't take something like Siphoning Toxin. There's no way Lunara can beat out a Rexar in this situation. And we're gonna get Nature's Calling anyways. We do get a pick off here in the bottom lane, or in the mid lane actually. It was Raynor that died to Imperius, so just like we saw Sosa getting pressured pretty hard in the top lane by the Rexar. Apparently Imperius Nubrak pressured the Raynor really well in the mid lane, and I missed it. Of course I missed it, right? That's how it works. So with the threat of Lunara up here, though she has literally no health, Rexar backs off. He did lose Misha, so it makes sense. But as soon as Misha's back up, he's just going to be able to take this back. And Lunara had to be back because there's no way she was getting in here. And now that's another controlled shrine. And in the meantime, we have ReGen Phoenix saying, hey, you know what? There's a bot camp that's just open. No one's taking. We don't care about grabbing the Dragon Knight right now. We're just going to threaten it. See how long we can hold it. We see a flank coming out from Sosa onto Mudge. Bear's going to peel back. Top lane is secured, but bottom is really getting pressured. Kael'thas, ETC, Raynor are definitely going to put a lot onto this front wall, and there's only so much that Anduin Greymane can do without getting into a risky position. Like, Greymane doesn't want to dive in on that. There's an ETC there. We see the flank coming out from Nubrak, but Nubrak being behind a Raynor is pretty much not where you want to be, and the rest of the damage didn't come in time. Murder will go down here, though, at 10 health. But is Thistledew also going to die due to the... I don't know. He might get peeled out. Good root from Kagatai. Keeps him alive. The kill, though, on Anubrak was pretty nice, but Kael'thas going down was a good exchange. They are super low, so Arrow and Arya should be able to actually hold this out a little bit longer, while Rexxar and Raynor attempt to secure this. And on to... Oh, we do see a Nubrak come in to actually mess this up after he respawns. And they do manage to secure bottom. So good focus there. Rexxar's going to return back up to the top. So Buff Chen not giving away an early Dragon Knight, and still doing a pretty good job here. So they're threatening it again with another camp in the bottom again. This is going to be matched up at least this time by Greymane grabbing the camp, but it should open up a window for Raynor to make a rotation into the mid lane, put some pressure on the middle bin. Middle bin misses the stun. Arya goes for the objective, and Darabo's just going to sit there and keep shooting him. And Middle Bear can only do this for so long. But is it long enough for them to secure it back? Arrow getting poked out, needs to leave, and it is enough. But he might still lose the Anubrak. Anubrak, though, bought a ton of time. That was very well played by Middle Bear. He didn't die. He sacrificed life points to reestablish control in the bot lane. And the stall out down there and up here, SVX did a good job into Mudge as well. Did a pretty good job. And SVX has to decide, right? Goes over the wall, though, lands a great spear onto Mudge, and now Mudge has actually been in trouble, but there is no mana left for SVX, and his chances of getting back onto Rexxar at this point are pretty much non-existent. He is going to go stall out the Shrine conversion, though. Sosa and Middlebar are very low. Poke damage from the Kael'thas has been effective. Raynor is coming back in now after being back, or he was killed? I can't remember. There was no death, so... Power slide on the Middle Bear into a mosh pit might be enough, as they do get the target that does it, but Lunara jumping over the wall is going to eat a ton of damage, and now Thistledew, though, is in trouble. I don't think he can peel himself away from the Raynor. That's going to be a kill. Lunara did get away, and she could have died as well, but getting the extra kill there onto Greymane was just about as good. Right Wing's going to try to snipe this, but we're going to have Anduin step up and make sure it doesn't happen. And we're going to have Lunara do the same. And she can put a lot of pressure onto Brightwing. She needs to be careful. That root lands and things can go south real quick, especially with Leaping Strike available. Good flank by Rexxar is going to bring Lunara out of the fight, and another re-engagement onto Anubrak. The power word Salvation comes out too slow. Sosa gets zoned off by Mudge, though he took a lot of damage in the process. But they do find another Imperious, or they do find an Imperious kill as well. Sorry, baby. And that's going to convert the first Dragon Knight of the game to ReGen Phoenix. They've got good burn on this. Lunara, Greymane are decent. Let's cocktail build again with the Greymane. So this is beginning to step up to see if he can get this Dragon Knight down. Is it going to clear the fort? I don't know. If they clear the wave up, perhaps, but it looks like it's not going to quite make it. And I do think that they just ran that that Dragon Knight a little bit too hard at the fort there. Back up, clear the wave, push in again. Cycle it out, make them overextend to put damage onto you. And you probably, you know, secure it faster. But they still got the fort, so it doesn't matter. Goal was the fort, and they got exactly that. They're going to get bottom Bruiser Camp. I'll see if they fire up here to see if they can grab this Siege Camp too as well. But by the time they do that, it's probably going to get cleared out. So they're going to do the split. And that's fine if you don't see a lot of contest from them. Kael'thas is going to step back here and see if he can clear this quickly. Camp clear is decent. It's not bad. Rainer's going to roll back, and I don't know if I like that play necessarily. So not a great camp stagger. It will be pretty much straight cleared up by the 3-man in the bot lane. 13s are the round the corner for buff Chen, so now they're back on even talent tiers and will be more effective at taking.
Prepare yourselves, heroes. The shrines will soon be active again.
Well, here's a bit of the pressure being applied by this Bruiser camp into the top lane as bottom camp is down. They are going to lose this wave. Unless Brightwing makes the rotation, which they're not. But they're going to find an Anubarak out in the boonies, and he's going to die.
Is yours.
So they'll lose a wave for that kill any day of the week. Now, they are kind of split. But we're going to see them push in mid-wave, put a lot of pressure into that mid-fort. No one's seriously going for the conversion, but nice positioning by ReGen Phoenix is going to give them the advantage on this rotation. And they don't stall out the Dragon Knight. There was 2 of them standing right next to it. Okay, so I guess Dragon Knight's going to ReGen Phoenix. SVX is in a terrible spot, but he does get a good engagement on the murder. Shield coming through, though, keeping her alive. Lots of pressure being put onto Darabo. This Dragon Knight is definitely being neutralized well by buff Chen. So much damage on it, and it's hard to sustain the rest of the team when your healer is the one inside the Dragon Knight. And they're only going to get a mid-fort. They're not even going to get it. And here's the re-engagement. Dragon Knight comes out. They finally get the healer up. And, you know, Holy Word Salvation almost got full value there. Arrow looking to aggress here now. They have 16s, so he can definitely bully them here. He was split from his team, but they weren't ready to punish for it. 16s are up, so I might as well pop up the talents again. And now they're going to push in with this camp a little bit, see if they can get some keep wall damage done. They do need to be mindful of the flanks, especially since they have rotation advantage over Rexxar, as Rexxar is still split in the top lane. That could be a problem. Nice stun coming out from Arrow. But Darabo is definitely positioned poorly. Nice disengage. Good counter kill. I mean, he's going to die most likely, but the cocoon might keep him alive. As long Rexxar is still taking the top fort, but they're still winning this fight 4v5. And that's going to be 3-for-1. ReGen Phoenix winning this fight without Rexxar, and he's just going to take top forts.
It won't be long before the shrines are ready for the taking.
Insane. ReGen Phoenix really coming back into form. These last 2 matchups have really been showing that they've got the skill to compete. And they're really taking it to buff Chen. In both these games. Sure, mistakes here and there, but...
Harness the power of sun and moon. Put an end to this cursed realm.
And it does not get it this time. They do manage to get the stall. Emerald Wood's going to come out to make sure that they don't kill a Brightwing in that situation. Now their dive is not halted, but that kill onto Nubarak picked off in the mid lane. Great CC chain into a kill. Brightwing's gonna pick up the Dragonite one more time. And they're gonna hard push mid? I don't know, they're gonna grab this camp. That's gonna push top lane, which is well pushed out, which is not bad. And yeah, it looks like they're just gonna siege up mid, which is fine. I honestly would just take the front wall and rotate to the bottom lane. Push this in. But it looks like they're just gonna full commit, which is fine. There's a good mosh pit onto 2 targets. Holy Word Salvation not in range to save anyone. But the counter engage coming out from Lunara and the amount of damage coming out, given the fact that Brightwing is still in the Dragon Knight, will mean that that kill is enough to stall out the victory. ReGen Phoenix, despite having 20, despite having Dragonite, despite getting 2 kills, is feeling not confident in their ability to take the victory here and are going to peel out. Rotate bot lane with 3 seconds left on the objective. It just doesn't really seem worth it. There's a good counter kill onto ETC. I know they're relying on Prog to keep them alive in those situations, but unfortunately, it was not the case this time. No, Buff Chen hangs on. So still 20-18. ReGen Phoenix wants to take a fight, and they might actually find one right here on XBX. He is going to be in big trouble here if they get any follow-up stuns. ETC looking for it. They try to hit a Nubrak, but the disengage is good. Angelic Armaments was popped. We're still waiting for the Raider to respawn, as well as the Mosh Pit to come back up.
Within the shrines, seize them and become the new Dragon Knight.
And there we go. And all the camps are now released. We're all gonna start marching down the lanes. And I missed the Nubrak fight pickoff. I'm so bad. I apologize, guys. Of course that's where they were. I can't go back in the replay there to make up my mistake, but 2 kills. Mid lane, level 20s available, no 20s available for Buff Chen, and objective is up. This should be nails in the coffin for Buff Chen if everything goes according to plan for ReGen Phoenix. Darabo's going to step up into Thistledew with the level 20s and with all of his self-sustain. He's going to feel confident about that, but I think he's going way too deep. Luckily for him, Arrow is around to make sure that the engagement doesn't come in hard on him there. That's good. Dragonite taken. Dragonite walking down. Terrabo taking a ton of damage, and Brightwing is back in the objective. So, again, there's not a lot of easy ways to heal up through this. It's just going to be Prog Rock and basic abilities. But I think with this, it's just over. It's too much damage from the objective. 2-man Death Mosh. GG. Well played. That's going to be game number 2 for a 2-0 domination. So there you go. Highest siege damage in the game, Brightwing. What happens when you take the Dragonite? Good healing, though, overall, still. Stayed ahead of Kagetai. Damage was actually Lunara, which is not surprising. Lots of spread damage. We saw good value coming from it. It was actually doing a lot of work, so. Decent overall there. We'll pop over to the talent screen while I try to get my interview page set up. Yeah, that's incorrect. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
Good. Nice to watch. A good 2-0 victory coming out from ReGen Phoenix. How's everybody feeling?
I think everyone's feeling awesome. Feel like we're playing pretty solid, and yeah, always feels good to win.
So both times got map pick. Both times you come out with the victory. Apparently, Arrow losing the coin tosses is working out in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep sending them in to do them then.
So game number 1, we got a ETC, Artanis, and Cassia draft into a very auto attack heavy composition. Did that just make the game feel a little bit on the easier side for you guys, as the amount of damage just wasn't there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we saw them, pick the initial 2 auto attack characters and then finally go into Thrall, we were pretty satisfied with our drafting, taking the Cassia and the Artanis, of course. Dive heavy as well, and so ETC and Jaina also worked really well into that.
We saw a few bans come out onto the Alarak, and Sylvanas, of course, was eliminated in both games.
Yes.
I'm assuming we saw some good scouting coming on both sides. Much though, I don't know if I've seen him play the Rexar up to this point.
Yeah, it's something we've definitely been trying out, especially in Team League. We've been doing, we've done a decent amount of Rexar practice, and always nice to have a very hero pool. And yeah, it did seem like they've definitely done at least some scouting without those Alarak bans. He loves the Alarak, so.
Absolutely. Alrighty, well, game number 2, we got a hold of the Rexar, which really kind of helped out with that top lane with Imperius. And again, it just seemed like things went your way draft-wise despite not getting first pick. Is that kind of how it felt?
Yeah, I mean, we were really happy with, getting the ETC again. Of course, Rexar is incredibly strong on that map, being able to hold top so the rest of the team can, go get camps and all that. Yeah, it felt really good.
So, Kel'Thas, still rocking that super high win rate here in B East. Why don't you give us some insight on why you think that might be? Is it just because you're playing it?
Yeah, I'm actually all of the wins, of course. So no, no. I mean, it can just be hard to multitask, trying to play your hero while also making sure to split well enough to avoid those bombs. He's just and of course the lockdown with his. I think he's just all around a super solid character and can throw people off pretty hard.
So Pyroblast and Phoenix, personal opinion. Obviously, your team vetoes things.
Definitely Phoenix for me. I don't personally do very well with Pyroblast, but I've seen it work. I mean, depending on the team comp you're going into, you can definitely make it happen.
So it was a convincing victory, but this is the end of the road when it comes down to kind of the lower end of the standings battles. You guys have a couple upcoming matches next. Could you tell us a little bit about who you're facing next and how you're feeling confidence-wise going into those two teams?
So I think, I mean, the next two teams, I believe they're higher in the standings a bit. I mean, we haven't, we typically take our scouting one team at a time, so we'll have to definitely look into that to prepare, as much as we can for them. And I mean, it can be definitely a little nerve-wracking going into a team that's, had a really good season, but I think we're feeling good. Like we've, our synergy's getting a lot better. Confident.
Yeah, I think Arrow was saying the next couple you guys have is Jailbait and Beast Coast.
That sounds right.
So those will be kind of a couple of the teams that have been performing very well in the series. And, I think if you guys play up to how you have been the last little bit, you definitely have plenty of opportunity to threaten them. And you're going to need to if you want to hold on to that 8th seed spot.
Yeah, for sure. We will definitely give it our all.
Apparently, I'm silly for asking you about upcoming matches, according to Arrow in the chat here.
Yeah, Arrow is the one that keeps track of everything and does all the scouting. So
Absolutely,
he's the master when it comes to that, for sure.
Well, I don't want to hold you too much longer. Congratulations on the victory. Why don't you go ahead with the shout-outs?
I mean, shout out to my team, obviously. I feel like we always feels good. Shout out to Buff Chen, for giving us some good games. It was definitely a lot of fun, so shout out to them for. Also, shout out to my mom and my brother Nick, who watch literally every single game we play. So
that's fantastic. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's nice to get family involvement in hobbies like this. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And yeah, I think that's it.
Alrighty, well, thank you for showing up, Murder. Nice to hear you, and we'll look to see you guys in the winners interview again in the future. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to be it for me tonight. Got through all the casts I could today. I got a lot of submissions and the highlight videos to go and edit and get moving on. So thank you for showing up. If you have not hit the follow button, please do. It'd be much appreciated. And beyond that, if you're feeling extra generous, subs, biddies, and of course the tip jar at the bottom. I definitely appreciate the support. I love NGS. This is a great environment. Love coming in here and being able to do all of these casts. I definitely enjoy every minute of it. Thank you for showing up today, and we'll catch you again next time in the Nexus.